If a woman ignores you, act like this. Stoicism. Be stoic. Have you ever noticed how a woman can go from warm to cold overnight? And suddenly it feels like you're fighting for her attention while she acts like you don't exist? Every man has felt that sting, that quiet rejection, that sudden shift, that why is she acting distant dilemma that haunts your mind. But what if I told you the way you respond in these moments reveals more about your power, your self-respect, and your emotional strength than anything you say when things are good? Stoicism teaches one truth. When someone ignores you, your reaction exposes who you really are. Today, we're going to walk through the Stoic way, the calm, unshakable masculine response that puts you back in control without saying a word. Let's begin. Understanding the situation. When a woman starts ignoring you in delayed replies, one-word messages, sudden distance, and most men panic. They start overanalyzing every moment. Did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I try harder? But this is where Stoicism offers clarity. A woman's silence is rarely about accidental forgetfulness. It's often a subtle test, a way to see what your attention is made of. Is it hungry? Is it desperate? Is it dependent on her response? She wants to know if your identity collapses when she pulls away. A woman can sense emotional neediness the way a shark senses blood in water. The moment she sees that her silence makes you chase, the dynamic shifts. You go from being a man she's curious about to a man she can control. That's why the Stoic response is not about chasing answers. It's about understanding the game before you ever decide to play. The Stoic response, silence and detachment. Most men respond to being ignored with one of three reactions. They chase harder, they get emotional, or they try to fix the situation instantly. A Stoic man does none of these. He does something far more powerful. He responds with silence. Not emotional silence, strategic silence. A silence that communicates strength, not hurt. This silence says, I do not need your validation to remain who I am. This silence says, I don't reward disrespect with attention. This silence says, you are free to go, but you will not break me. Stoic silence is not passive. It's a message carved in stone. It's the refusal to dance for someone who stepped off the floor. And in that silence, you reclaim something far more important than her attention. Your self-respect. Detaching to dominate. When she ignores you, most men make the same mistake. They assume they've been rejected. They assume they've done something wrong. They assume they must fix what they think is broken. But a Stoic man interprets her silence differently. Her withdrawal is information, not rejection. It tells you how she handles conflict. It reveals her emotional maturity. It exposes whether she values communication or games. You don't need closure. You don't need explanations. And you definitely don't need to beg for her return. If someone removes themselves from your life through silence, the only response is clarity. Thank you for revealing yourself. That's the kind of power emotional detachment gives you. It's not coldness. It's not bitterness. It's recognition. You don't chase what chooses to walk away. You simply let it. That's what Stoics call dominating through detachment, self-respect over attention. Most men don't realize how expensive their attention is. They give it away to anyone who shows them the slightest affection, and they panic when that affection disappears. So what do? They double text. They ask, is everything okay? They apologize for things they didn't do. They try to win back validation. But every time you do that, you pay with your dignity. Stoicism teaches the opposite. You value your peace more than her attention. You value your self-worth more than her reaction. You value your stability more than her presence. The moment you stop craving her acknowledgement, the dynamic flips. She's no longer the judge of your value. You are. And that shift, that quiet internal shift, is the beginning of your rise. Let absence speak for you. A foolish man announces his exit. A wise man simply walks. You don't block her. You don't post quotes. You don't send emotional paragraphs explaining how you feel. You don't say, I'm done with this. Your silence is the message. Because here's the truth women rarely admit. Your absence speaks louder than anything you could say. It forces her to confront the emptiness she created. It forces her to question what happened. It forces her to compare what she had to what she's now left with. Men forget one thing. You don't punish a woman for ignoring you. You let her punish herself with the consequences of losing you. Invest in yourself instead. When she pulls away, the average man collapses inward. He loses sleep. He refreshes messages. He imagines scenarios. He spirals. A Stoic man uses that silence as fuel. He goes to the gym. He works on his ambitions. He sharpens his mind. He invests in his brotherhood. He strengthens his discipline. He builds a life that makes him unrecognizable in 6 months. Her absence becomes your opportunity, because the moment your attention shifts from her to your purpose, you evolve. You become harder to manipulate, harder to ignore, harder to forget, avoiding the common traps. Every man falls into one of 3 traps when ignored. Trap 1, begging. Why aren't you replying? Did I do something wrong? Please just talk to me. Neediness kills attraction. Trap 2, anger. What's your problem? You're being disrespectful. If you don't want me, just say it. Anger reveals emotional dependence. Trap 3, fake happiness. Acting unbothered. When you're very bothered. Posting fun photos to look happy. Trying to trigger jealousy. This screams insecurity louder than words. The Stoic man avoids all 3 because he knows that any reaction, positive or negative, signals that her silence controls him. Instead, he disappears. Not to hurt her, not to teach her a lesson, but because true strength is shown through emotional independence, not theatrics. What leaves when confronted with peace was never meant to stay. The power of indifference. And finally, the most dangerous power a man can master. Indifference, not fake indifference, not cold-heartedness, not bitterness. Real, grounded, calm indifference. The kind that comes from knowing you lose nothing by losing someone who does not value you. A Stoic man doesn't break. He doesn't chase. He doesn't crumble. He stands firm. And something incredible happens. The woman who ignored you eventually realizes her silence didn't weaken you. It freed you. She realizes she didn't control your emotions. She only controlled her illusions. And she realizes that the calm, grounded version of you is the version she cannot manipulate, cannot test, and cannot forget. Because nothing terrifies the feminine ego more than a man who no longer reacts. You have become that man, the man who grows from silence, the man who transforms through distance, the man who walks with dignity, with clarity, with indifference earned through pain and discipline. That is the Stoic way. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.